amount of wealth, material things you have. Sometimes we trade our happiness to be successful. So I term it success, the atrium of man. Today in the studio, I have a very important guest. It's a social media manager managed by Divine. He's going to introduce himself to us. Over to you, sir.
All right. Hello and good morning to everyone. And this is the Yes You Can podcast, and today I'm honored to discuss this very topic by known podcaster here. And then, I think soon enough, we'll dive. He has done the introduction already. I'm Divine, the social media manager, digital creator. I can put your brand out there. You'll be very well to contact. My link will be also down below. All right. I think from here you can go on, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Divine, for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
You know, I talking about this topic is success happiness or is happiness success. You know, the topic sounds kind of philosophical, psychological, emotional, and sometimes it requires a lot of brain work for one to be able to understand is success happiness or is happiness success.
Okay.
And then looking at it from this perspective, where we have discussed that from the first episode, and today we'll be discussing the search for happiness.
All right.
So, what can you tell us you perceive success as?
Success can be performed from different views of life.
Okay.
You doing this podcast, after this podcast, you can define this very podcast as a success once we are done. Very much true.
Of course.
And then one thing with success is, as we dive in more, we'll talk about success more. But I think in a brief context, I'll put success as goals which we tend to achieve at the end of the day. As simple as that.
Okay. Goals you tend to achieve. You started a brand managed by Divine, which is very much new in the market. And so, can you tell us what do you define your own success? You just started something new. I think that's the beginning of something. You are not yet successful in it.
Okay.
So when are you going to define it as a success?
Well, okay. About success in that niche. Obviously, I think I just got into social media management.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm learning a lot. And then there are lots on the way. I won't consider myself a success, or I will also tell you I can consider myself success. Starting this brand is something a lot of people wanted to be a social media manager. A lot of them haven't taken that step, not just yet. I think me taking a step to become a social media manager, that's success. Because if I keep chasing success, I think at the end of the day, I might never get it. Besides, I tend to celebrate every success, every step I make along the way is a success. So I tend to celebrate it. All right, me having a social media page, that's a success for me. It might not be big, but indeed it is a success. You get me? And then along the way, I keep moving. I might not be the best digital creator out there, but with how far I've gone, though I'm not looking at others. I'm also looking at my own path. I know how far I've gone. Opening a page and then sharing links, doing the everyday thing a social media creator does. You understand? I think that's success for me.
So that's success for you. And now we'll be discussing basically on the search for happiness.
Okay.
And when you talk of success is supposed to give you this feeling of happiness and fulfillment.
Okay.
And from our world today, we discover that most of the people we see successful are not happy. It looks as if they have lost that happiness metrics. The reason why I call it happiness metrics is something they use to measure their own happiness.
Sure.
So from the beginning of your own career now, what do you think you will use to measure your own happiness in line with this success?
Okay. Before I even talk about my career, the thing is, are we actually supposed to be chasing happiness, or are we supposed to create it? Because from my point of view, I think happiness is more of an experience. It's more of a feeling. Happiness is, okay, let's talk about it from a psychological term. Happiness is also a feeling. Happiness has to do with your emotions. The truth is, you don't get to be happy every day. Yes, because that's what your emotions are. You know what your emotions spike up at times and they are low. You wake up, most of the time you're not happy. Okay. I think when it comes to happiness, I have a lot to talk about. Because happiness, I think we've been friends for a long time now.
Sure.
Something I wouldn't love to have talked about, but it just came up. Most times when we sit down and have conversations and then we laugh, those times were times where we didn't actually plan for those things.
No.
But all of a sudden, we crack jokes and we laugh and we're happy. I think if we keep chasing happiness, we might never find it, or I think we will just end up in cycles. I think we should create happiness, even with ourselves. We should tend to do that more often. That's what I have to say about happiness.
Yes, and also, talking about these happiness metrics, a lot of people, I think the reason why the society have lost touch with what success feels like with happiness is, growing up, when you started your basic education
Okay.
and maybe you're a backward student or something, the pressure you have at home to always be the head.
Okay.
Everybody wants you to be at the top of the class.
Okay.
But, sometimes, for example, you can be at the top, but yet you won't still you'll be like, is this it? Is it what success feels like?
Okay.
Why am I still not happy? Because you always have, I think, having much pressure, but people looking up to you
Okay.
sometimes can kind of deter us from this search of happiness. Yes, because having a lot of people that are looking up to you, you wouldn't want to make a mistake to fail, of which every mistake we make are supposed to be built up blocks
Okay. True.
that lead up to that success.
True.
So a lot of times, because of this pressure now, people are so careful. Do you know that it's now so surprising that if you are a top celebrity, you can no longer post a picture of yourself doing some funny things. People will be like, I never thought a person like this would do something like this. Because you think when you are successful,
You don't live the usual life
yes,
anymore. You don't
you
live
never
the
have
usual
normal
life.
life.
Yeah.
But sometimes what we really picture from these people are not really what it is. Because things that give them that happiness, we try to deprive them from it, looking at them for another way. They should be doing something better, giving them an option.
Okay.
It's easy. That's one of the major problems now. And we've talked about the happiness metrics now. When you're successful with happiness, I think there's something that one needs to be
Okay.
a grateful mindset.
Whoa. Okay. That's
Yes,
something.
and always mindfulness.
That's
You know,
something.
so what role do you think a grateful attitude plays in having in this search of happiness,
Okay.
and how can it shape our perspective also towards success?
Success. All right then. Being a grateful heart. I think a grateful heart relates with a mindful one. Why I said that is a grateful heart always lives in the present. Okay, what's the present? The present is now.
Yeah.
A friend told me something, I think 2 years back. He said, what does it mean to be in the present? What's the present? The word present means a gift. You collect it. And what's the present? The present is now. You having the gift, enjoying it now. You understand? You being grateful for now. That's how well, even when you're successful, it doesn't become a big deal for you. Because I think before you become successful, I think you've been successful before now. So when success comes, it's not something new to you.
No, it's not.
It's not something new. You've been grateful every day for even the little things you've had, the water you drink, the food on your table. All these little success keep accumulating, and even when the big one comes, it's not much of a surprise to you anymore. It's not much of a surprise. And these days, I think a grateful heart creates room for more. Yes, a grateful heart creates room for more. So the more we get grateful about the little things of life, I think life has a way of repaying us with more.
No, of course.
Yes,
Of course.
yes. So,
Adding more to that, from the Holy Book,
alright.
I think in the book of Proverbs or Ecclesiastes, where it talks about a grateful heart doeth good like medicine.
True.
So when you have a grateful attitude, if it does good like medicine, happiness itself is medicine.
Okay.
So you get the happiness.
Wow. Okay.
You see that's how I think it correlates. So for every day of our life, for every day of that we have been in existence, we should be grateful for the little moments. No matter how little it is, no matter how big it is, always have a grateful heart. A grateful heart doeth good like medicine. So just want to ask again. You started this social media management. So have you had any brand of recent that you're managing?
Getting a brand these days is it's actually not easy. Besides, my goal right now is not actually getting the brand. It's putting myself out there, showing you that I'm actually capable of doing these things.
Okay.
When I put myself out there as a reliable person, I think the clients will be the least of my problems. Yes, because once you put yourself as someone that is reliable, yes, I think everybody wants the best. when you present yourself out there as the best person, everybody will search for you. So right now, I think I'm not focusing on getting clients or getting a brand. There are a lot of brand out there, a lot of brand, fashion brand, clothing brands, different brands. And then I think where I actually want to watch, the niche I actually want to work under, it's actually the music brand. There are a lot of music artists around me, and that's something I really want to take advantage of. Because growing up, I see that I've known a lot of music producers, I've known a lot of artists.
Wow.
So I think building a brand for them is nothing. They are out there. The thing is, I'm just working on myself right now to see that I'm actually the best option we have right now out there. So that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
Are you happy?
Well, that's another question. That's quite a question. I think I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. I'm happy with it because a lot of people don't actually get to decide what they want to do with their life. So they don't know. So most times they're just there. They're just there. Most people are sad without purpose, not knowing. They're just in this endless cycle, this endless loop where they don't know what they're doing and they're so confused. And believe me, you don't want to be in chaos like that. You don't want to be conflicted like that. I've lived in a place like that. It's so dark where you wake up every day, you feel guilty because you don't even know what you want to do with your life. It's man, it's painful. It's painful. So when you finally discover what you want to do with your life, I think you from that day you live differently. You live as a happy man.
Of course.
Yes, you don't get to live like every other person out there. This is a fact that many someone might dispute, but it's true. It's true. You get to be happy because okay, let's relate this to happiness too. Yes, to success itself. I think if you're a happy person, if you're happy doing what you're doing, I'm so much. I believe you're so much happy with doing this podcast. You've been doing this for some time.
Yeah.
All right. Before now, I think success and happiness, these are two things that actually correlate with each other. They intertwine. These are two things we can't actually separate them from each other. Though most people don't actually live with both of them. The thing is, we all chase happiness one way or the other through a career, relationship, or personal achievement. We all chase success. We all chase success and happiness. But what happens when success and when success itself becomes the barrier, or when happiness itself becomes the barrier?
That's something
You
deep.
see, that's something a lot of people don't know about. So coming back to my point, I think if you're happy doing what you're doing every day, then success will be the product of that.
Hmm.
Is that not? Success will be the product of because okay, I've known Miles Morio. I've been a big fan of Miles Morio myself for years now. He's been my mentor. I've followed a lot of his messages, and then I think he'll be a very good example of who I actually want to talk about right now. Miles Morio, I've never sat down to think about almost it doesn't stress him to think about what he would teach or preach on a Sunday. Sure enough, he plans about that. But I bet you he's also happy doing that. At some point he was broke, he didn't have money. He didn't have money. Or let's take Jeff Bezos, the rich people that everybody can relate with. Jeff Bezos and the creator of Facebook. These people do coding. I'm very sure they were happy coding. They were happy coding. They were coding and coding and coding and coding. They were not even looking at the money. They were not. Believe me, they were not looking at as much as the money is there and then it's important. They were not even looking at the money. The thing is, if you're happy doing what you're doing, it drives you towards success. Yes, you don't even have to because this is the difference between someone just out there doing his thing recklessly and then you happy doing your thing. If you're happy doing whatever you're doing, it drives you through the path of success. Yes, that's what happens. So I think I encourage everybody out there to actually find find their own path. Don't be pressured by whatever is happening because I think that's what actually happens these days. Because if you work under pressure, you end up achieving anything. Like myself, if you put me under pressure sometimes, I'm no good. But I had to learn how to work under pressure too. It's very much important. It depends on who is actually pressurizing me and what kind of pressure are you taking in there. So don't try to be happy as much as you can. Remember that happiness is an emotion and you don't get to be happy every day. You create that moment. Okay? I think that's what I have to say for that. Let's go on.
Okay, you talk about your managing brand,
Okay?
and I just want to ask now. Let's say, of course, everybody's planning to be big, right?
Sure.
In the next 5, 10 years now, when you start having a lot of work, when it comes to managing. How do you plan to manage that success and your happiness?
Wow. Just like I said before now, I think I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Social media management actually, it's why I choose this very niche, social media management, is because it's actually like a river. It drives me to so many other parts of whatever what I want to do in life. Social media management, I don't just want to be a social media manager, I also want to be a manager, managing artist. That's actually a big dream for me, like probably in the next 10 years, owning a record label if possible. Because I think, I don't know who's hearing this, but I don't know of the standard record level in Egypt. Honestly, I don't know. If there's anybody, then you should mention it down in the comment section. I have a lot to learn myself. Yeah. So in the next 10 years, I think I should have gone so far, I should have been known, not just in Taraba. Do I do this to elevate not just myself, but the whole picture of Taraba itself? I think I've traveled to a few places, and honestly, I don't like the news I hear about Taraba. People talk less about Taraba, and then I want to give a good representation of Taraba out there, which is also branding, and that's what I do. So in the next 5, 10 years, believe me, you want to check me out in the next 5, 10 years, and it won't be the same, man. It won't be the same. It won't be the same. It will be a far long journey from now. But
You know, you included something about Taraba, and then people perspective to us that
okay.
let's leave this topic for now, and then let's talk about this a little.
All right then.
You know, I have also been in school for a couple of time, and I've seen people talk about Taraba is a backward state and all. So I think one of the reasons why we perceive ourselves to be a backward state is because you doing social media managing now,
Yeah.
you know, on a large scale, I think when it comes to the use of the internet,
Okay.
I think we are backwards.
True.
Yes.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Yes, we are backward because most times what you see people post on the internet are pictures of themselves. You know, it's you find just a little set of people who are trying to do something spectacular,
Okay.
but doing that spectacular stuff now, they don't have a lot of engagement
Okay.
because even the people that are supposed to support them from their own society are now watching people from other places.
Okay.
So one of the problem we have is self-acceptance.
Okay.
We as tribals we hardly accept our own. We are so tribalistic based, postic in nature that we if it is not my own, I'm not supporting.
Okay.
I
Okay.
only support my own. So sometimes when we see there are sometimes we have opportunity to help people who are starting something new to be successful, but somebody may ask, where's it from? So it's
Does
from
it
this
does it does it
particular.
even matter?
So the question, what makes me wonder is, does success has a tribe?
Whoa.
Does it has a religion?
Whoa. Okay.
Does it has a place of settlement?
Wow.
This doesn't happen. The moment you see somebody doing something little, my dear Tarabans out there, whenever I see somebody doing something little, and you feel the urge to support, I think it's very
Sure.
because I was watching something about Denzel Washington, one of the casting, the new recent movie, The Gladiator 2. I
Yeah.
think there's something he said to one of his speech he was giving. I think it was in Emma's Award or something. He said, "For each one, teach one."
Wow. Wow. That's something.
So that's the principle. You get it.
Okay.
So if I am successful today and I see somebody doing something little, I shouldn't be nepotistic or tribalistic or favoristic in nature
Okay.
to say it's not somebody I know I can't help. But for each one, teach one. Because to be sincere, just like the artist Ashake sang,
Yeah.
lonely at the top is indeed lonely. The only time you can find being at the top very wonderful is the moment you are able to each one teach one. You know, that reminds me of something about what the Lord Jesus said before he left earth. You know, he said, "Go into the world, preach
Yeah.
disciple and preach the gospel and make disciples to all nations."
Sure.
What he really meant that I think people don't understand is it doesn't mean just go preach the gospel, make disciples. In another perspective, what he means each one teach one, hold one by the hand.
And the next
So
one,
the next one hold another by
and
the
it
hand.
keeps going.
So it keeps going and become like a long chain reaction.
Okay. Okay.
So this is just the message I have for people in Taraba. So please, if you know somebody that's doing something that is very captivating and wonderful, you won't know where it will be in the next 5, 10 years. Your support can mean something. So now we're back to where we were. You know, we really went somewhere else and
Yeah,
dominate.
yeah.
That's
That
something to speak of
honestly,
because
yeah. There are a lot of things to talk about. There are a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, honestly. And about social media, I think social media is something we all have Facebook pages, we all have Instagram accounts, we all have these things on our phone. It's it's important we take advantage of them. We leverage these things to our own to our own importance. All right, your Facebook page now. People post pictures. I see nothing wrong with people posting pictures. Or there's a difference between you posting a picture and Ronaldo posting a picture. Ronaldo
big
earns money
difference.
from what he's posting, and you don't. The thing is, you might have a lot of likes, but a lot of us don't know how to convert these likes to money. We don't know how to monetize our pages. We don't know how to leverage our Instagram accounts to our own liking. You don't know who's out there. The social media is a wide world. DJ Khaled might come to your comment section and like. That's why it's called the social media. It's a wide world. You take advantage of the social media. If you're starting small and nobody's supporting you, it's okay. That's what it means building from the bottom. You might okay, me building my brand, I think my first two posts, nobody actually liked them, and I'm still going. And then I will
Wow,
keep posting,
that's
believe me.
great.
And
That's great.
nobody might even like the next 10 posts I might do. But believe me, I don't actually care about that. I don't actually care about that because it's actually beyond that. One like can actually change the whole thing. Just keep going, just keep going. And there's this guy that actually wanted me, a friend of mine that wanted me to actually manage his page. But the thing, he was not financially buoyant enough, and I couldn't help him as much as I wanted to, but I couldn't help him. But I think he's doing a great job. I'm just putting him through because as much as I can't offer him my services because of money. There's also a way he can climb up there, even without the social media manager. With time, if he's able to, then he'll afford one. But for now, just I was able to put him through how to open a Facebook page, how to actually what kind of content to post, because you don't just post any content. What time to actually post these things. I was actually putting him through whatever he needs to. You understand? And I've seen some of his posts, like early this morning. I was looking at his post on Instagram. It was just 4 likes. In fact, it was three. I made it four.
Wow.
You see, and I like the fact that every day he keeps posting, regardless of the fact that you don't like it or not. You don't like it or not, because it takes just one reaction probably. Just a single person can come and see what you just posted, and then everything changes. The algorithm can favor you and push your content to DJ Khaled's reels. You don't know. You see, consistency is key. We all know this. Consistency is key. The more you keep posting every day, the more you keep posting every day, one day something will change about the whole thing. Instagram is observing you, Facebook is observing your feeds. They know all about this. They know about consistency. So for everybody out there who is doing something new or is actually trying to use the social media to their advantage, I think you should keep doing that, even when it means nobody's liking your page. Nobody, yeah, you're actually trying to put yourself out there, create a presence, but nobody's noticing you right now because it's not just yet time. So I wish everybody out there could leverage their Facebook page, their Instagram page, their Twitter account, and put ourselves out there, present ourselves, Taraba to the world. Let's do this together.
Talking about that now, you talk about social media and all.
Okay,
So now you talk about having zero likes and view,
sure.
and so tell me what was the feeling like?
Honestly, at first I felt a little bit disappointed, and then I went back to my teacher and I was actually explaining things to her. I was like, I posted today like a very good graphics, so not anyhow, like a mad graphics. Like I
Okay.
sat down, I did this thing well, a very good template. Like the graphics is smart, something anybody should have fallen for. I was like, why is nobody liking my page? And she was like, it's not just time. You understand? She made it clear to me that I have to understand times and seasons, and
Mm.
it's not just time. And you don't expect to plant a tree today and then eat of the fruit today. It doesn't work that way. It goes with patience and consistency. These very two are needed for success. As much as yes, we're talking about success, you also need to know that these two works with success. And then I think another thing is, if I'm not actually happy doing what I'm doing, I would have dropped it a long time ago. I would have dropped it a long time. But the fact that I'm happy being a social media manager and nobody's liking my page, that's what keeps me going. Myself, I make sure I'm happy, even when I'm not happy, because happiness is just an emotion that fades away. I try to keep going. When happiness is not there, I replace it with consistency.
Yeah. Talking about that now, I remember the first time I also started my own podcast too. I remember the first episode where I talk about procrastination and all.
Okay.
And I think the first 1 week it was just 2 views.
Whoa, whoa,
Yes,
whoa.
first 2 views, and then I I was so motivated to continue. Okay,
Okay.
so I did the next episode where I talk about self discovery.
Okay.
That's episode one, and then self discovery episode two, and
Okay.
then the the likes and the reaction and views were
Popping up.
coming up, coming up,
Okay.
coming up. And then at some point, I posted the reel on Facebook. 2 weeks, 0 views.
Whoa.
2 weeks, it has 0 views.
Okay.
At that moment, I was so frustrated. I said, "This is the end. I'm not doing it anymore."
Whoa.
So I stopped my podcast for quite some time.
Okay.
Yes. The reason why I stopped it, I don't want to be defined by the view actually. It's not the view that I'm doing it for. I discovered that sometimes when things happen like that,
Okay.
you personally need to go on a journey
Okay.
to search for what is it that can bring me more happiness.
Sure. Okay.
Is it the like that I want, or how my message is passed out?
Okay.
Talking about message now, I was in school one day and I was just taking a walk one evening, and then somebody stopped me and was like, shook my hand. I was surprised. I've never met him before, and it's like, keep doing what you are doing.
Whoa. Okay.
Do something like that now. I was like, okay. And I took it so casual.
Okay.
Then I went and I was telling my friend, look, this is my encounter this evening I had with someone, and it's like, keep doing what you are doing. So it's like the world is watching.
Some of yeah, we are watching.
But for everything you start, you have a target.
Sure. Okay.
But that give me happiness.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in that happiness matrix. Let's say I'm measuring my happiness from 1 to 100.
Okay.
From the moment he said, keep doing what you are doing, I have 20% of happiness. That's to me.
Okay. Okay.
Because I have a target that, by all means, in the next 5, 10 years, from every continent in the world,
You should have been known.
I should have a viewer. I should be known.
Wow, that's an achievement.
Because the world is so much lost in this ideology of defining success and happiness through the social. People now define their success and happiness through social media by the likes and the comment and view. As you talk about not having view for cancer, that you feel down.
Sure.
But the moment you have everything planned out in your head, that look, I'm not going out for the likes.
Okay.
I'm not going out for the comments. I'm not going out for the share. I'm going out to just let the world know that this is my message.
Okay.
I need some things to change in the world.
Okay.
Having it in the net.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
So the moment you have something in mind, you have a perspective, you have a mindset. For everything you start, you can't start a journey without a destination.
Sure.
So just like talking about journey without a destination, this happiness something is success happiness or is happiness success, and then the search for happiness. Let's take for example it's a trail, and then using the happiness metrics now, you started the journey and then your happiness start building by let's say 0.5 to 1, 1.5, and then at some point you're like the happiness is not increasing.
Okay.
But little do you know that it's increasing by a little fraction.
Okay.
So the more you keep going, and then let's say the happiness are placed like goals.
Okay.
Like I can't really, there's this Greek story about this guy that run and then was throwing goal and then the lady was picking. I think she achieved it or so.
Okay.
So let's say for example you were seeing the goals and you were picking it, and then at some point you see a diversion in your path to destiny. Why you can see a very big hill of gold up there waiting for you. That is where your apex is in life.
Okay.
And then you deviated from that path to enter another path where lying on the floor are much gold, but you don't know what is at the end. It may be a ditch.
Okay. Okay.
So the reason why I brought about this is because the world has so much lost its happiness metrics because of what success feels like. Success is something that can be temporal. We have people that have been successful a few years ago, and today they are so depressed. Some of them have committed suicide.
Definitely.
So surprising that you see somebody like Juice WRLD. It's so surprising that an artist who is big globally, having the money, everything, and is still not happy. So it makes me wonder what is the true definition of success and happiness? This search for happiness, what is it? If somebody like him could have money, if a millionaire can have money and still kills himself, a billionaire can have money and still lose everything. His family is so disoriented. Is money really happiness, or is there more to it?
Whoa. Okay. That's something I think we should actually talk about. Juice WRLD actually committed suicide. A lot of celebrities are actually dealing with depression and anxiety.
Mm.
Quite even with the money they have, the houses, the mansion, the fancy cars, and everything, they're still depressed. They're not still happy. I think it comes down to self-awareness. Before all these things come, before the money comes, before everything comes, who are you?
Sure.
Who were you before these things? If you're not happy before the success and the money and everything, believe me, the mindset have been there. The mindset that when I get married, I'll get happy. When I get a promotion, I'll get happy. When I do this, I'll get happy. I think we are so much dependent on these things to make us happy. We are so much dependent on goals. We are so much dependent on when I achieve this, when I do this, I'll get happy. When I get a life partner, I'll get happy. When I get a promotion, I'll get happy. Bro, you will never get happy. That's the thing. I know as much as psychologically and scientifically it has been proven that achieving goals makes us happy. Well, bro, that's temporary. That's momentary. Do you want to be happy every day, or you want to be happy only when you achieve goals? You see, that's something you also have to get to decide. Yes, and that's why most celebrities grow up with this mindset. Most celebrities were just like us. You grow up with the mindset that when I have a car, I'll be happy. When I become a celebrity, I'll be happy. And then, boom, when they get to become a celebrity, when they get the cars, when they get the money, and they are not happy, what happens? So, what's the meaning of all these things when I'm not happy? And then, what's next? Before you know, they resort to drugs. They get addicted to whatever narcotics is out there to numb the pain of what is actually inside. They just feel empty. Okay, let me give a classical example. I think, okay, you're being told that, okay, climb that hill, climb that mountain hill, and then at the top you get happiness. Fine, quite all right. I climb, I climb, I climb, I climb. I'm exhausted. I get to the top. Quite all right. I see happiness, but guess what? I see another mountain.
Hmm.
So what? Do I keep
Yes.
climbing and climbing and climbing? This becomes an endless cycle, an endless loop. You keep moving in cycles and cycles and cycles. Man, it's time you break out of this tree. It's time you become okay. Sometimes I sit down, I drop my cell phone away, I drop everything, I sit down alone. I just I just try to be happy even without my cell phone. Because the thing is, we so much depend on social media and our phones to actually entertain us. We don't know the true meaning of happiness without these things. I drop my phone, I drop whatever. I try to have fun with myself, just myself. Just sit down, think. If it means cracking a joke and laughing out loud, yeah, I do that all by myself. Even before I become successful. So when I become successful now, I think becoming depressed is I've been depressed when I was broke, and then I found a way out. I found a way out. Imagine a broke person being depressed, and then
That's
yeah.
terrible.
Actually, depression happens to all of us at whatever level. But you see, as a celebrity, it's even worse because then you don't have friends. Just like you said, being lonely at the top. I don't blame celebrities for being lonely at the top because the truth is, it's hard for you to grow up, and then growing up, other people around you don't grow up. It's hard. It's
Of
hard.
course,
The
of
thing
course.
is, you can't take this. You can't take all these luggages and baggages. You can't take it to the top. It will weigh you down. As much as these things are painful, I don't actually blame celebrities that don't actually get in touch with their childhood friends and whatever because these people don't actually provide value. They don't. They just become baggages and luggages for you on your way to the top. And believe me, if I was like them, I would drop those luggages without any hard feelings. Yeah, as hard as that might sound, as harsh as it might sound, believe me, I would drop them all. I would drop them all. And there's nothing wrong with that. At first, I was feeling guilty, which was also a mindset. But I think I grew. Yeah, I grew. So I had to drop that mindset. I felt less guilty about it. And that's something that also makes me happy every day. It makes me happy every day, knowing that I don't owe anybody when I'm successful. I don't. I don't owe anybody. And I think that's something that also makes people depressed. And that's something that makes people less happy. Because you becoming successful, there's this feeling that you owe your society, you owe your parents, you owe this one, you owe that one. I think this also weighs you down. And every day you sit down, you're thinking you're depressed. You don't have to do all that. You don't owe anybody. You as much as those people helped you to the top, they were there to help you. God provided those people. They were there to help you. They were meant to help you. Of course, they did their part. They did their part. You're successful now. You don't owe anybody. You don't owe anybody. You don't have to think about this. You don't have to stress yourself over this. Just enjoy you being successful. And that's what I have to say.
Talking about you don't owe anybody. If you say you don't owe anybody, don't you think you are making the people feel like you are you are stepping on them like they are your stepping stones?
Stepping stones in what sense? Well, how did you? How what? You only played the part in helping me get to the top. You didn't get me to the top. I crawled my way to the top. I walked my way to the top. I sweat my way to the top.
Wow.
As much as you gave, you had an input in my success. Believe me, I did 90% of the work. It was on me. If you gave me 10,000 naira and I squandered it, your help was nothing. I had to get knowledge on how to use that money very well. I did 90% of the work. I did it. I did the work.
So, in your own opinion, is it possible for one to be successful and not happy?
Sure. And that's the more reason why earlier before now, I said celebrities, the celebrity, you gave a classic example. I've been in Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD have been given a lot of depressing vibes way back before he died, honestly. And if you're still listening to Juice WRLD, as sad as this might sound, I'm still a big fan. Few of his songs still give me the vibe I want, but most of his songs were kind of depressing, and that's the truth. If you're listening to Juice WRLD at a very high rate, uh, somehow you're depressed. As sad as that might sound, somehow you're depressed. Take that as a harsh truth. Take it as a harsh truth. Because Juice WRLD himself was depressed. It was obvious. He put his life in his songs. And then if you could hear his songs, you could know that this was what he was actually going through.
And music is also the window to the heart. So,
Definitely, yes. So he was pouring out his heart into this very music, and it was obvious that he was depressed. He was depressed after getting the money, after squandering. I think if you're at the top, being successful, and you're not happy, you will lose it all. You won't just you might not lose the you might end up losing yourself, not even the money. The risk now is you yourself. You might end up losing yourself, and I think this is where mental mental health comes in. We take mental health very very casually. It's something I think we should consider more. Something we should consider more. As growing up, going to the top, even as right now we are still going to the top, we have to protect our mental health. That's very very important. There are a lot of energy vampires out there trying to drain your energy. You have to protect yourself. Some people might come and then they will give you this feeling that, this feeling of entitlement, I was there and whatever. No, you have to know what people. That's why going to the top, being successful is honestly is hard, because you have to push a lot of people aside. You have to make a lot of tough decisions, I think that's what I have to say.
this is this is so it's so deep. You talk about mental health,
Yeah.
and coming from our own war here in Africa, to be precise. Let me talk about Africa right now.
Okay. Okay.
We have often neglect this um, thought about mental health.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, I was reading a story on the social media of recent of somebody that committed suicide because he can no longer provide for his family. So, it makes me wonder at some point in his life, possibly he has thought, when I marry, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Before then, before then.
So he channeled his happiness to marriage.
Sure.
After which he got married, it's like, when I have a kid, I'll be happy.
And it keeps going.
He channels also happiness to kids also.
Mhm.
So after having kids and when I have money, I'll be happy. And then the money is no longer forthcoming. So you see, the moment you tie your happiness, you
To
entangle your
material
happiness to
things and-
material things, you become so depressed. I think as a nation, as a continent, the topic of mental health should never be underrated. For example, now if you tell somebody in this country, to be precise,
Okay.
that you are a therapist, you'll be like, let me use our own Nigerian guy, like, of all these therapists, you meeting the therapist, how much you will get?
Like.
Who will pay you? Who needs your. When I started out, a couple of things happened. Somebody was like, who need motivation for this country? Said,
Whoa. Okay.
who need motivation? I was just thinking in my head. I think he has not gotten to the point where he will see the importance of what motivational message means. But beyond the motivational message now, we have somehow turned it to a joke in this country that somebody will be like, motivational speaker will be like, I started a poultry farm with chicken feathers. And then the chicken feather turned to shells of egg. and then shells of egg turns
Yeah.
to egg and then becomes a chicken, and now we're making over $4 million.
The whole thing is it's like a
So
joke
they
now.
now take it to be like a joke. While these stories these men are putting for the world to hear, it's practically their life. You know, one thing, consistency is key. When you are consistent with whatever you are doing, sometimes your story can be like a myth for people to hear, to even listen to. They'll be like, this is possible.
Mhm. True.
Somebody like, let's talk about George Foreman, who became a boxer. You know, he was a very chubby guy, and he said he was well bullied in school.
Whoa.
So his mom decided to sign him up for boxing classes and all. So sometimes, you just imagine that story for someone that's a boxer. You know,
From a
if
bully
you
to
are,
a boxer.
yes, if you are telling somebody this, you'll be
Yeah.
like, this is not sounding real, like a
Like,
real something.
it's too good to be true.
Yes, too good to be true. So we should, as please, we should take our issue of mental health very serious. And I think for this now, that has given us another topic to discuss. Probably next year, we'll be talking about mental health
Sure,
because I
sure.
think we have somehow lost touch with our mental health, our psychological state of being,
Sure.
and then we are now concerned with our enjoyment and everything. I just want to enjoy life. If you get money, you go chop life, you go enjoy life. And it's so surprising I see a video that somebody was like, person wey get money.
Mhm.
Now man wey get money, they will call man. Man wey no get money, na woman.
You see?
So you see, they tie happiness to money, material things, of which the society don't ought to be so.
Mhm.
Let's say, for example, let's say 2,000 years back.
Yeah.
2,000 years is too far. Let's say 200 years ago.
Okay.
Was money defined as source of happiness?
Not really. It wasn't really. Not really a thing. Not really a thing. 200 years ago, I think you having a family, you having people around you, and then I think that's happiness. Though considerably 200 years ago, there was still money.
Yes.
There was still money. There was still all that. But I think people were living just this comfortable lifestyle. They were just okay. Taking from the story of Jesus, he was just a common carpenter, and then many other people just the regular farming and the regular activities. Having a wife, they just take pride in enjoying the normal things of life, and that's not being mediocre. Yes, just enjoying you having a family, you having a wife, and then you're just living life comfortably. Money wasn't really a thing. It was there, but it wasn't really a thing. It's just that right now, in this generation, I think we are being conditioned from our society.
Yeah.
Yes, from our society, because it's what you go out there in the social media, you're being told a man that doesn't have money is a woman. You come back, your friend who does Yahoo tells you you should have money, you're a woman. You go, these are voices you hear every time, everywhere. So it's like at the end of the day, you become conditioned to think, if I don't have money, I don't be man.
So how can I mute those voices in my search for happiness?
That's where self-awareness comes in. You have to work on self-awareness. I think a lot of people are not willing to work on themselves, and that's why they have not even gone out of that very mindset. Yes, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. And then the thing is, self-awareness, it's self-awareness. I can't help you become self-aware as much as I want to. I can't. You have to come to a point to tell yourself, I'm tired of these things. That's why a lot of my friends are very intelligent, intellectual, but very few read books. I encourage a lot of my friends to read books, hear podcasts, and videos on TV. This is where I actually get most of my learning. From movies, funny enough, yeah, from movies, but most time from podcasts, and then from YouTube too. I think if you're willing to invest in yourself, that's the best decision you ever make, because your life is like a soil, and it's the most fertile ground you can ever plant on. It's the best place to invest in yourself. So I advise all of us there to go out there and then work on self-development, self-awareness, read books, listening to podcasts, do whatever you have to do to get out of this mindset. And when you're out of this mindset, then I think money will be the least of your problems, because whatever you do now will be you stop chasing money. At this point, you start attracting money. Maslow said something: make yourself valuable. It's what you read that.
You're not disposable.
Good. You're not disposable at all. They need you. You understand? It's not to be that you don't have to even stress out there. A lot of people are doing chasing money, while there are a lot of people who sit in their room and money come to them. In fact, they seem no to some offers, and offers that if you hear today is a mouth-dropping offer, but they'll be like, no. There's this great novelist in Nigeria, Chinua Achebe, or
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
it.
I think 50 Cent
Things fall
offered him,
apart.
yeah, Things
Yeah.
Fall Apart, from that book. That very book was supposed to be acted as a movie. 50 Cent offered him an outrageous amount for that very movie. He turned it down because people like that don't consider money as a thing. He's a very knowledgeable man. So in your own case, you'll be wondering like, wetin make this man drop this kind of money? Like, why won't he act this movie for this amount of money? You see, he has reached the point where, as money, the thing is, I can't discredit the fact that money is important. Of course it is. But he has reached a stage where money is the least of his problems. In fact, he doesn't struggle for the money just comes. So I advise all of us to, chasing the bag is not the logo. I think it's time to attract the bag, attract the bag. Yeah, that way is better. It will stop us. All the depression, all the suicide, and all this mindset of a man being a woman because he doesn't have money. I think if we develop this very mindset, then it will be.
No, we're talking about this money something. My brain was just trying to create something. And I think I decided to come up with a quote, and it's like, "Man make money
Okay.
to make another man feel less of himself."
Whoa. Okay. That's something there. That's something
Get
there.
the point?
Okay.
Yes. Money is created by man.
Sure.
Another man use the money to make another man feel less of himself, of which all men are equal.
And you call. But money, the money now, money has changed everything. It changes everything. But it changes for who actually settles for that. It changes for anyone that doesn't have awareness enough to know that money is just paper. Yeah, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. And then my self-worth is not defined by how much I actually have in my account. Because, okay, I was asking myself, I think last night or a few days ago, last night precisely, I was like, would I be the same person if I had $1 million in my account? Like, will I be the same person?
And will
Or
it make you happy?
yes, like, will it make me more happy, or will I become outrageous? Will I become this very stubborn person? Will I still be the same person, or would money change me? Would money change me? I was just going through these questions, and it was something worth thinking. It was something worth thinking. So I think it's something, it's a rhetorical question I want to place for all of us out there. You can go out there and really ask yourself, do I so much believe money changes everybody, but there are few things that changes are in your life, not you. Not you. You're growing as a person. You're growing as a person, but money doesn't change that growth. It might elevate it, but it shouldn't change who you are in person. It shouldn't change who you are in person.
That brings me to another question, not changing who you are in person. Society is so much so that it sees success as when you have money. But sometimes back, I think I saw a picture on Facebook of the owner of Microsoft, Bill Gates,
Okay.
standing in a queue in McDonald's to collect his order. So I was like, if money changed man, then why is this man still the same? That still brought me back to what you just said, self-awareness.
So you see, it's only not only in Nigeria, it's applicable everywhere because money brings influence, true. But what do you decide to do with that influence? See,
Definitely.
he following that queue, believe me, he had the right to overtake any of them. And then, if not for anything, for who Mark Zuckerberg is, they would have allowed him. In fact, he's big enough to buy the restaurant, but why would he follow queue? That's self-awareness. He's still living, he's still himself, even with the fucking billions in his account. I think he's still himself. He's still himself.
Wow.
So that's something. Yeah, that's something. That's something.
So how do you manage these challenging times you are in with your blog starting it?
I think
Um, how are you managing these challenging times? With you have a mindset, right?
okay.
So how are you able to manage the mindset, the challenging time, and your search for happiness and all of this?
Well, okay. Mm, I won't actually say I'm actually searching for happiness. I'm actually creating happiness. All right. I live in happiness every day. Though I might not be happy every day, which is not possible. We all know this. Happiness is just an emotion. It comes and it goes. So you don't get to be happy every day. Honestly, we all know that. Being a social media manager is actually challenging. And then coming up has been a challenge, knowing for the fact that I've few people to relate with. I think coming up so far, I've not met another. They're out there. I'm yet to meet them. I'm still trying to make up my connections and all that. But right now, that I don't actually have much of a connection, that I think that's actually a challenge for me. That's actually a challenge for me. But it's something I'm still working on. I'm still working on. And then it's challenging, but I've told myself I'll keep going. I'll keep going regardless. Regardless, I'll keep going till I get there. And then my friends around, podcasts are listening to inspirational videos from Yes You Can have helped me keep going on my journey, on my path, and that's what have also kept me consistent. From the podcast about procrastination, I think I've learned a lot from that very podcast myself, and then it has helped me view life differently. And then everybody, like literally everybody, procrastinates. I think I refer everybody to go watch that video. You see, if you still have a problem with procrastinating, because since then, like since I watched that video, I think I've noticed changes in my life. I've noticed changes, and I can boldly refer anybody else to go and watch that video if you're still battling with procrastination. Yeah, you've been so much of an input to us.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah.
Though sometimes you see you do little things and you think who's watching, but little do you know you are making change and changing lives.
That's why it's social media. Anybody out there can watch. You don't know who is watching, so just make sure to put your best out there.
So just before we round it up, I just want to ask one last question.
Okay.
So, what do you think a successful and a happy life look like?
Okay. Successful and a happy life. Uh, I think I should define that as a person who I've said it earlier, a person who enjoys what he does. It's not about how much you make. Let's make it less about, everything is about money now. But let's just be honest right now. Let's just be honest. Let's make it less about the money. Less about the money. Let's make it more of enjoying what you do. If I enjoy what I do, I'm happy with whatever I'm doing out there. And then with time, if I enjoy painting, I paint, I sing, I paint, I just enjoy doing it. Then when I'm done with this, I put it out there. Someone says I love it. Or I might just be doing it and someone passes by and say, whoa, I love this painting. How much will you sell this? Okay, 400,000 naira. Like wow, okay, that's worth it. He picks it up and go. In my doing in the process, in the journey of doing what I love, I discovered there's success in it as well. Yes, there's success in it. So I enjoy what I do. From there, it becomes something that also earns money for me. I so much believe a lot of successful people enjoy what they do, and that's what actually keeps them going. That's what they enjoy everything. When I mean everything, I mean it includes the challenges that comes with whatever they do. It might be hard. The challenges might come. For example, you're a businessman, you lost the cargo. That's part of it, but you enjoy that. You enjoy the problem. You enjoy having those problems. You enjoy solving those problems. And till when you enjoy doing these things, I think you won't actually have true meaning of success later on, because you will have a different perspective of success. Definitely, you think success is a car, of which for some people it is. Yes, and then when you finally get a car, you see that you're not happy. A part of you is empty. A part of you is empty, and I don't actually want you to feel that way. That's why we are on this podcast, to let you know. We don't actually want you one day to wake up, or though it doesn't work that way, walk your way up to the top and then sit down and feel empty. No, 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 no. We want you to walk your way up there, and then see, if you're doing what you love, you won't even feel the stress. Yes, you just be going, and then you'll be enjoying your way to the top. Definitely there'll be bruises, there'll be blisters, there'll be whatever it is that has to come with the journey. But because you're actually enjoying this, man, it will just be like a walkover. It should just be like a walkover. And I think happiness is not a trophy we win. No, 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 no. Happiness is not like a today list that you cross off it's not like a goal you cross off your today list. No, no, no. It's not. Happiness is an experience. An experience you create. I can actually tell you I'm happy right now. I'm happy to be talking to you all. Yes, because I actually enjoy this. I enjoy this podcast and I'm very much happy. I'm very much sure that you're happy doing the same thing. And then you don't know where this will lead to. Someone might pop up and say, whoa, I enjoyed this podcast. I want you to actually come up. And then maybe Steve having my watches online, like, whoa, I want you to be on my show. That's a product of what you do. So it's a product of, I feel success is a product of who you are. And if you're a happy person, then that's what success become a product of that. That's what I can say in conclusion. Yeah.
Success, 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 happiness, 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 the search for happiness. We have talked about self-awareness, the societal definition of what success is like, the perspective of it, and a lot more we have discussed on this podcast today. And I'm very sure that we all are inspired by today's session with my guests who, yeah, this, it's so wonderful having you here, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure actually. It is.
Success is really something should be a product of who we are. So just like an artist said, the real you is not defined by the size of your outfit. The real you is who you are when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
So what you do when nobody's watching, does it make you happy? Or is it what you do to the public? Is success happiness or is happiness success? The search for happiness. On this, we wrap up this session of today, Yes You Can podcast. I remain your host, Tamir Okwen, with my guest,
Diva Intelligence, a social media manager, digital creator too. Thank you very much.
I just have a message for you. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. Yes, you must. That dream, you can achieve it. You can live it. It's up to you to make that change. Now, this is your moment.
Okay. Wish you all the best. Wonderful, bro.
Okay?